What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Saturday night special, Full Press Hockey Weekly Show. I'm your host, Jim Berenger, rocking and rolling with the NWO. As always, Chris Wassel, Ian Glenn behind the scenes. Get it at Full Press NHL on Twitter, Full Press coverage, Facebook, Full Press coverage on YouTube, Full Press Hockey on Facebook as well. Get it iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. And we are here. Regular season hockey starts Tuesday. The Devils 7-0 in the preseason doesn't mean nothing. But hey, what's going on, everybody out there?
We're back. We're
are back.
really that close. We are 3 days from actual hockey that counts.
About time. Like, look, I mean, not for nothing, but the season should have started this week.
Yeah, you get that feeling like you go back through like some of the old like NHL archives, and it's like October 2nd, October 3rd, 4th, 5th, and it's like you're sitting there on tonight, October 7th, going, it should be hockey night in Canada, and my TV should be like full of hockey, and instead I'm watching AHL and NHL preseason instead.
All right, exactly. And I think that's the sentiment for most people who cover this league and those inside. The regulars just need like a couple games to get going. Let's just start the season the beginning of October, first week October. I'm good with it. That we could get it done earlier, a little bit more time between the draft and free agency. Teams aren't scrambling. It makes everything more fundamentally sound, if you know what I mean.
Exactly, and it gives us more time to go places and do crazy hockey road trip type things where media can hang out and see who can drink or eat more. Wish I was kidding.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have some fun this year. Don't you worry. There's gonna be some road trips.
Yeah, there's a certain birthday shenanigan type thing. Because, most people would normally celebrate their 50th birthday with gusto. Nah. We're going 49 here, but there's reasons for that. Gotta do it. I mean, look, you think about it. We have 3 games on Tuesday. Dare I say it, Jim, staggered starting. I mean, we're not going to have 6 games ending in the first intermission and going like, well, we just have to watch intermission now.
Yeah, that's a good thing, right? You got a 5:30 and 8 at 10 o'clock. Like that's pretty decent. 5:30 start on the East Coast a little early, especially down in Tampa, but I think people will rearrange their schedules for that one. Bedard, Crosby will be fun, and then the Kraken and Vegas. Vegas is going to raise the banner. So, and that game's going to start later. So, because of the banner raising ceremony. So, that's going to be fun. I mean, it's a good first day. But again, as I tell everybody, Tuesday's just jam packed all around, too. Let's not forget what else is going on Tuesday. And I know some of this audience will not care, but I'll care because, well, I cover it all. And AEW, NXT go up head to head. It's good old days when you got wrestling, hockey, all these sports on. It's a multi-screen night. And some of the big news coming out of the week, the Anaheim Ducks finally get the dynamic duo into camp. Trevor Zegras, 3 years, $17.1 million, 5.75 AAV. Jamie Drysdale, it's a 3-year deal, 6.9 million-ish, 2.35 million AAV. Zegras we knew was going to get his money. But you're telling me, after all this time, 2.3 million? Really?
Look, it's weird how some of these things have kind of worked out just suddenly. Like, you couldn't have done that sooner. I mean, how many times have we now seen this? We saw it first with Lafreniere, where they just waited, and then it was like, really? Okay, done. Zegras, even worse. I mean, look, he loses an entire training camp.
Yeah.
For what, really? Something they probably could have agreed on to in April or May even.
They probably could have, and I guess my understanding is that Zegras is the one that wanted to go shorter term, and the Ducks wanted to go longer term. But still, you could still get a 3-year bridge deal done uh in the summer, beginning of summer.
Yeah, there was time. There was time, and they have plenty of cap space. Oodles and oodles and oodles of cap space.
Yeah, they have plenty. What do they have, like $16 million in cap space?
I mean, obviously less now with the two signings, but the idea was you just had so much money that it wasn't going to make a difference. You could sit there and give the guy 7, and it wouldn't really have batted an eye.
No, it wouldn't have, and that's the problem, right? Like with Zegras, you knew he wanted to get paid, and he deserved to get paid, getting back-to-back seasons, and he got it. He spends a couple of extra, he comes in, a couple. He misses most of training camp, but he gets like one preseason game in, if that. But Jamie Drysdale's the more head-scratching one because for me, the kid needed to be in training camp. He's
Yeah.
coming off an injury. He missed all of last season. And now he's missed a whole training camp and he's playing catch up, right? That's
Yeah.
never a good thing.
Yeah, we don't really know how everything healed because he wasn't in training camp, so you couldn't see him. I mean, you hear reports from people, but look, what is the one thing that we've learned throughout this whole entire crazy process? Don't believe it until you see it.
Right, exactly. And as we see with shoulders and things like that, the situation in Ottawa with Josh Norris, he's kind of taking a step back. We don't really know what's going on there. Is it mental? Is it more mental? He's afraid to take a hit. Is it not healed the way it's supposed to? And like torn labrums are crazy, but considering that defense and brings up a good point. The direction with this team, what is it? Where are they going? We know they're not going to be good enough to compete for a while, and this is what made it even more ridiculous that this lasted this long into October. This team isn't a playoff team. They bring in Alex Killorn and Radko Gudas for what? For money that they probably didn't. I mean, those guys deserve to get paid, but this was the kind of team that was only going to offer them this kind of money.
Right. And the biggest problem now is, well, they're kind of back to square one in a lot of respects with certain players. You think you tried to get more competitive, but in reality, you kind of just shot yourselves in you shot yourselves in both feet essentially, not
Yeah.
just one. And you're so far behind now. You're trying to catch up. You have a new coach, presumably a new system. And your best player
Yikes.
has to learn this in basically what? Less than a
3
week?
days, 3
Yeah,
days, 4 days. I mean,
3-4
the Ducks
days.
for the Ducks, I think they open Wednesday or Thursday. So,
Yeah, a little later. So I mean, it's not as bad, but then again, it is.
but again, we see this all the time, even with guys that are injured, guys that hold out. When they try to come back, they try to come back too quickly. They
Yep.
try to get up to speed real quick, and then they end up getting injured. And for the Ducks,
That's
you don't want that.
that's a big concern. That really is a big concern. Look, unfortunately, how many times in training camp have we already seen this? Too many.
Too many times.
For those that do not know, and this is kind of the unfortunate part of covering training camp, there is a slew of freaking injuries that just should not be happening.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it does seem like it's something that's gone by the wayside. By the way, Anaheim is fortunate enough to not play until Saturday.
All right, so they got a little bit more time to get these guys ready into the fold. And they're also very lucky that
Oh,
injury to Leo Carlson wasn't as bad as
oh
it was
yeah,
first reported because it looked bad. He couldn't put any weight on his foot. I mean, that
yeah,
would have been a huge loss for this team.
yeah. This was a case where actually the video looked way worse than the injury.
Yeah.
The visual of him coming off the ice was not good.
No,
I mean, he
it
caught an
was not.
edge. He went into the nook and cranny of the boards, which I have flashbacks.
That's not a good thing.
I have flashbacks. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I kind of broke my ankle this way.
It's a lot of guys break their ankle that way.
It's not fun.
No.
And obviously, not as bad. Most important thing is for them. It's a week till the regular season. Yes, they open in Vegas.
Yeah, they do. And look, that's not going to be a fun game for them at all. No. Vegas is just too good, too strong. I mean, look, Mason McTavish is taking steps. Owen Zellweger, but again, goaltending wise, when does John Gibson get traded? Probably not till next summer anyway. Is this team going to continuously give up shots all the time?
You can't give up 39 shots a game. You just can't.
No, you can't.
I mean, it got a little better late last season. I mean, over the final month, I think it was like around 36 or 37. But that only brought the average down from like almost 40.5 down to like 39.2. I mean, that's pretty bad.
That is bad. That's awful. That's really awful. So, I mean, the Ducks are not going to be a good team this year. This is why it's just the fact that it took so long. And I hear reports, it's monetary. It was monetary with Drysdale. Really? I would have believed that if it was 3, 4 million, 2.3. Come on. Like this could have
This wasn't money.
This wasn't money. This was not money. Was it the player upset that he probably could return in 4 months last year? Maybe. Because his timeline of the surgery was 4 to 6 months, and they were very cautious with him. But both guys have the same, so Zegras has 5.75 throughout this thing. Drysdale is 2.3 throughout this thing. They'll both have qualifying offers at the end of this, and they both remain RFAs. But they'll both have more leverage than they do now.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy.
It's gonna be interesting to see what happens.
Okay, we've got the elephant in the room question in the chat room. Who ends up being worse, Jim? The Anaheim Ducks or the San Jose Sharks?
Oof. Both? I don't know. No, you can't pick both.
I mean, you almost could say both and not be wrong.
No, I think both are going to be really bad. I mean, there's reports Logan Couture is probably going to be out of town. Like, he's going to be a guy
not to mention that he's not even probably going to start the season.
No, he's not going to start the season, which is unfortunate for them because he's a good hockey player.
Yeah, you need mentor players like that on your. I mean, not just the obvious leadership, but in general, a player of his caliber.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're banged up already. Lasting guys like Duclair, et cetera, needed. Guys that could have been really nice fantasy hockey gems, if you will, at least for the first little part of the season. That's probably up in smoke now.
Oh, absolutely. Duclair especially would have been a gem on that team, and he'll probably be another player that'll be gone at the deadline.
Yeah, there's just a list of players that they go, as Mike Greer said, probably going to see another massive turnover.
100%. They have to. I mean, the Sharks have to. They have to be. They got to turn this thing over, and they got to get another high draft pick and go from there. It's going to be interesting to see what that Pacific Division really turns into with like Vegas at the top. You have Edmonton there. We know what they are. Seattle. What about Calgary? What about LA? What are they doing? Vancouver. Like that division, all in all, is pretty good. And then, like again, Patrick Kane's still out there with where's he going to go? Is it Buffalo? Is it Dallas? Is it Detroit? Is it some other contenders? Is money really an issue? Well, money's going to be an issue because the cap's the cap, and a lot of these contending teams are up against it.
Yeah, this isn't gonna be easy for him, and I do think he's gonna have to wait.
I mean, we know he's probably not going to be ready to sign until November anyway. But again, he's got it. Again, getting into camp, getting games under his belt, getting skating into practice, getting acclimated to a team. Like that takes time, and then he's got to be ready to go. Is he 100% ready to go? What's his game gonna look like? Like all that stuff. Is it a 1 year deal? Is it a multi-year deal? Who's it with? It's most likely going to be a 1 year deal, and then they figure it out in the offseason. But I mean, he could be a fit for a bunch of teams. But again, what is it? Like, what is it? X amount, because he can't get that bonus laden incentive contract because that hurts the cap. He's missing that 35 and older contract thing where you could do it, but so it's going to be interesting to watch to see where he ends up going.
I still have this just ominous feeling. Oh, Dallas, where art thou?
Right, exactly.
It feels like the Stars on like a low dollar deal, because that's really like the only sort of fit there is right now, that fits most of the requirements that he has for a team.
Yeah, because I mean, unless Buffalo can make it work,
And
but they have to be in contention to do it too, right?
right.
Like they
Yeah,
they
there's the
gotta be
catch-22.
they gotta be off to a good start and there. I know
I
there's
think
reports about him reuniting with the Brinket, but it comes down to Detroit being in contention.
same thing. One of these teams doesn't just have to be on the bubble. They have to be like in by like a decent margin,
Right.
because otherwise it's not worth it for him. If they fall backwards and miss the playoffs, it serves him nothing.
No.
Because if anything, he's going to get blamed for it.
Right. Exactly. He is going to get blamed for it.
Just like New York media in the spring.
Yeah, but we knew that he wasn't 100% then. He
True,
wasn't 100%
but
to
he
begin
didn't.
the season last year.
But he
And he
didn't get a
forced his way
pass.
to New York. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he didn't get a pass. Absolutely. But
And he
most
didn't
of it
deserve
came
one.
from, oh, absolutely 100% deserved. But again, it was, well, he don't play defense. His skating's not. Well, when did Patrick Kane ever play defense?
His defense was his offense.
Right. But he doesn't have the speed anymore. He was just injured and he forced his way there, and it was a bad situation. And the Rangers just changed the way they were and who they were. And if they just left well enough alone after the Tarasenko trade, they might have been in better shape. And instead, they got older. They may not make the playoffs, and there's going to be a lot of question marks.
Yeah, I don't think people. I've seen some of the media reports and some of the projections from certain NHL writers that may have a soft spot towards the Rangers.
They're not finishing second, and you can call them out if you want to.
All right, Rosen, Satriano. I've got a mile-long list here. Look, I don't know if the Devils are or not. That's not, my deal here. But I can tell you right now that unless not even Henrik Lundqvist could guide that team to 110 points. I saw as high as 110 points in some projections.
There's no
And
way they're getting 110 points. No chance.
I don't see it.
I'll say that right now. There's no chance. Their
defense.
By the way, their defense, if you've watched it in the preseason, not very good.
No, it's actually gotten worse. And I'll argue guys like Condre Miller have taken steps back.
They have.
And I think Adam Fox defensively has even taken a step or two back. Out of almost, and it's not really his fault per se. It's sort of like regression by what you see.
It's regression by what you see because he's not paired with Lindgren.
That's big.
That's big. Look, I know what Peter Laviolette does, his track record in the first couple seasons, but let's be honest. This isn't Washington. This isn't Nashville. This isn't Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
This defense isn't very good, and the backup goalie isn't very good.
Oh no, this is very scary. I mean, I'll tell you what Jack Hughes said when I talked to him after the Rangers game. He's like, okay, my shot that obviously went in was good. He's like, but an average goalie stops that.
Oh yeah.
He said, yeah, I mean the placement wasn't. He said, to be perfectly honest, the shot was good speed, but the placement was not.
Right.
I mean,
That's
if a
all you
guy's
need to
telling you
know.
that, he's not saying it for lip service. He's telling you honestly, hey, it was a preseason goal that probably doesn't go in if the goalie is near NHL
Better.
caliber.
Right. So that's their biggest question mark there. And I didn't agree with the signing July 1st. I still don't agree with it. I think the Rangers have gotten older. They've gotten slower. You could see it in the preseason game against New Jersey. They were definitely slower than New Jersey was. And
Yep.
it showed. So, look, you have the situation in Anaheim. They got their guys done. You have Patrick Kane still out there. Shane Pinto is still sitting out there.
I don't
And
believe it.
Ottawa needs to get him to camp.
Yeah, they got basically what, a week? I mean,
About
technically, actually less, but I mean, I guess for the old poo poos and giggles and all that fun stuff. You really need to get him in. I mean, look, the Wednesday.
yesterday.
Yeah, I mean the Wednesday game is out. You
No, he's
figure
not
net.
playing the Wednesday game. No,
He's
no
not
chance.
playing He's not playing in Carolina.
No way. And the fact of the matter is that they need you know they need Josh Norris in this lineup, and if they don't, he's going to be LTIR'd and IR'd, and he's going to have to miss what.
I think that's what they're waiting for.
I, I
It
I think
seems
that's
like
got to
it.
be the move right now because it doesn't seem like anybody's getting moved off this roster.
Yeah. I mean, I said it to Murray, and he kind of didn't want to say yes or no.
So, according to Dave Poulin from TSN, if Josh Norris starts the year on LTIR, he'll have to miss 10 games in 24 days.
Yeah.
It's not an either or situation. In that case, he wouldn't be eligible to return to November 8th against Toronto, which gives them a little more time to figure out how he can be added back into the lineup
That might be needed.
at this point, right?
Yeah, I mean, what other choice do you have if you're Ottawa right now? You yeah, you've hemmed yourselves into this corner. Got to get yourself
You,
out somehow.
well, and I think this is the only way to do it, really, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
think
don't think
I
his
think
shoulder's right.
no, I don't think his shoulder's right either. If it was right, he'd be back in the lineup right now.
Yeah, because it looked like he was going to. I mean, by all reports, it started to look pretty encouraging.
And
And then,
then the setback happened.
yeah, the inevitable yet somehow predictable setback.
Which is unfortunate because imagine they had Norris in the lineup on that second line. And this is why you need to get Pinto there. And I guess there's a difference in what Ottawa can give him and what he wants. He wants 2.5 million roughly. Ottawa really can be like, well, we only really can give you $1 million. And I'm like, well, I scored 20 goals, this, that, and other thing. You're paying all these other guys.
He's not wrong.
It's a very sticky situation. I mean, unless he moves off his asking price and they come to an agreement, be like, hey, look, like the Kevin LeBanc deal in San Jose, where he's like, all right, well, you take the 1 year, $1 million deal
Yep,
next off season, you're getting paid.
it's true. That's what happened.
I mean, we all knew that was coming.
Yeah. And Otto's going to have to overpay the living daylights out of him.
Oh yeah, overpay.
So that's going to affect. I mean, unless this cap goes up like it's projected.
And we'll get to that in a minute because again,
Who knows?
believe it when we see it. But if the cap does go up as projected, I mean Ottawa will be okay next year, and it gives teams more money to spend and stuff, and teams can actually spend to the cap. But they still have to make a move to get if Norris does go on LTIR to start the year, they still got to make a move for when he's eligible to come back.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like. At least we believe it's as of right now. If he goes on LTR right now, he comes back in just about exactly a month. Or
Right.
he's eligible to come back in exactly a
Right.
month. Does that free up enough cap to sign Pinto?
It does.
It does. Barely.
Barely, but it does.
So, all right. God darn it. I'm going to have to do complex math here.
Let's do complex math here. That's
you got an eighth of a season.
Yep.
Basically, when you do this.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Senior Joshua Norris.
Yep.
Oof. Well, at least the cap number is high enough. That's a plus.
Yep.
And you divide that by and carry the abacus with the. No, we're not kidding, folks. I mean,
this is what we're doing. Yeah, we're doing complex math live right now.
So $7.95 million is his salary.
So if that goes on LTIR, that frees up $7.9 million. Realistically, you still have to clear about $5 to $5.6 million to clear it to get it back.
Because your prorated your prorated cap is a hair less than $1 million.
Right.
For those scoring.
Now, are you allowed to go over by like a percent, like a small percentage at the start of the year, right?
I don't think they're going to be able to at this point.
Right. But you can have a small overage. It's not like it's not like the 10% overage you're allowed to have in the off season, but you can go like 1 or 2% over.
Yeah, I think right now. All right, so Ottawa right now, and this is where it gets really, really tricky. So Ottawa, in a technical sense, as of literally this moment, has $1.7 million in cap space. However, they only have 18 signed players on their roster.
That's not good. Josh Bailey could potentially get a contract.
Yeah, so you figure if Bailey, all right, so Bailey gets a contract. Just for the math for everybody out there, that puts them back under $1 million of cap space, with still only 19 roster players, by the way.
And you have to get to what, 20?
Ideally, they should. Right. I mean, you could do the old emergency status. Don't do the 961 thing like the Devils did.
No, that was stupid.
Or as I like to call it, the Columbus Day tailgate massacre. Right. I had to sit there in the press box and try to explain this to people that this was illegal.
Oh
yeah. Yeah, I mean, so look. So right now, I mean, at least the good news for them is they can feel the team. I mean, I know it sounds laughable, but
it's tough.
It's kind of the reality.
It's tough to feel the team right now.
So we haven't heard anything on Bailey's professional tryout status either.
And he's still there with the team, and they like him, and they want to keep him around. But the problem is somebody could scoop him up.
You know, the cruel and god awful problem with Ottawa is right now, they wouldn't be in this bind
if they didn't sign Vladimir Tarasenko.
That's one.
Dominic Kubalik's salaries 2.
Yep. And then you have all that dead cap space.
For who?
Wow. All right, let's put it this way. Bobby Ryan still.
Oh.
Colin White and Michael Del Zotto take up about almost $3.5 million alone. If you
because Del Zotto signed an over 35 contract, he probably had a year left on it, right? But he retired, so it still goes against their cap, right?
It still goes against their cap. Add in retained salary from the Matt Murray deal.
Oh yeah.
That basically comes out to just a shade over $5.01 million.
Which would have given you enough to sign Pinto and Bailey.
Yep. And they would have easy 20. They could probably even sign another player or two just for fun.
Right. Couple league minimum contracts.
And still have some room.
Right. They could have done that. I mean, look, I think having Detroit not retain any salary on Kubalik was a mistake. I think that was a real mistake on their part. Obviously, you could throw in Matthew Joseph as well, like $2.3 million. That's kind of a huge deal.
It is.
So again, look, for all the things Dorian's done well, I think this has not been handled well with Pinto. I think you get Pinto in and then you figure it out, right? Like that's how most teams do it, right? You sign everybody, get it all done in the off season, and then figure out how you're getting down by October 10th.
Right. This is look. This isn't hard.
Like you don't do it backwards because then
And,
you have no leverage, right?
right.
Because now teams know you have to move somebody.
Yeah.
The
Now
other
you're
way, it's like, okay, well, we could throw you this, this, and this if you take Joseph.
right. And worse, they're more up against it. It would be different if, say, let's put it this way: say their roster size was, say they had 20 players signed right now.
Right,
It wouldn't be as much of an issue. It really
right,
wouldn't, because at least you have some backup depth. Okay, we can't sign these guys yet. All right, fine. But we have enough depth guys to hold us over while we try to work something out.
right. They don't have that.
They don't even have that now, so they're stuck. They're basically going to go at. I mean, they're probably going to go like 10-6-2, maybe 9-7-2, depending.
Maybe.
Maybe. This all again. This all depends. They. I figure they're going to sign Bailey in the next
They
couple
they
of
they
days.
got they'll sign Bailey and they got to get Pinto in because if Norris isn't able to play, that's two guys down the middle that you're missing. And it's supposed to be a big year for the Senators, and the Senators need to get off to a strong start because the last couple of seasons they've fallen behind the eight ball and they've had to make up points. And the way the Atlantic Division is right now, they got to take advantage of it because Sam Bennett's out a few weeks, Brandon Montour and
Florida's a mess.
yeah, they're just a mess because you got Ekblad and Montour and Bennett out. So there's that. You have Tampa with their goalie situation and that in that area. And
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo, we don't know what they are because Devin Levi, and you're going to rely on a rookie goaltender to carry the load for most of the year. Not an ideal strategy. So the opportunity is there for them, but it feels like they're going to be squandering that opportunity because they don't have guys in the camp.
It's crazy sometimes. The more things change, the more they remain the same.
That's why you figure like a team like Boston or maybe Tampa figures out a way to survive. And, maybe the only surest thing is that the Leafs win the division, but after that, you really don't know.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, and even then, how much did the Leafs win the division by?
Right, exactly. You don't know because how much are they actually, yeah,
Does their goaltending and defense slide back slightly?
right, exactly. And
Because
you
they
got
had a
Nylander.
hell of a year last year defensively. I don't think people.
They got
Yeah,
better. They got better defensively last year.
I don't think people realize how good that team was defensively, especially when it comes to preventing chances.
And that's a big reason why Sheldon Keefe's back is because of
Yeah,
the way his team was able to play defense. And you look at that, and yeah, Timmins is hurt and Klingberg seems to be okay, but again, the defense is different there. Offensively they look great. Yep, the experiment with Nylander on the wing over. I mean, at center over, Pack on the wing. Not surprised because that's where his best production is. So I mean, this team is different now, but guess what? It's gonna be. They should be okay. And again, we're gonna see what Ottawa does. They got to get Pinto. I feel like Pinto's coming. I feel like maybe after the holiday they announce it.
yeah, it is. Yeah, I guess we forget that sometimes here in the States. It is their
Canadian
turn. Their
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, gobble gobble. By the way,
But
I will
they
be
all
having
still
turkey.
love but they still all love our holiday.
Oh, of course. You blame them? I mean, I
No.
would. I don't. I mean, I am happy to double dip in the gluttony that is turkey.
Yeah, I'll double dip with you. But here's the thing for like I said, Ottawa got to get it in, and they got to get their guy in, and they have to get everything else situated, or else it could be another year where they're scratching their heads and be like, wait a minute, we were supposed to be here. We got the goalie. We took care of some other problems, but we didn't take care of our guys inside, and now it's going to cost us the start of the year again.
Hmm.
Just my thought.
Oops.
Oops, my bad. Oops, my bad. Look,
How many?
and it's not like what you saw in Calgary where, it stinks that a guy like Dustin Wolf has to go back to the AHL. But again, he's waiver exempt, so he can go down. And
He'll
I
be
think he
back.
would, but he'll be back real quick because they'll figure out a way to move Dan Vladar. But again, the asking price is just too high. I heard second round pick for the guy, but again, he's a reasonable salary. We'll see what happens there. But again, that's the cards that you play, because if he wasn't waiver exempt, it would be like Toronto and Montreal where they're carrying 3 goalies because you don't want to lose that guy on waivers.
Yep.
And they may still lose a guy on waivers that is Martin Jones, and he may go to Tampa. But again, Tampa's got its own cap mess. And we've mentioned the cap before because Gary Bettman came out during the Board of Governors meetings after and said the early preliminary projections,
Yep.
87 to 88 million, because the players have paid off the escrow. But he's like, these are very still early. This is unofficial, all that stuff. Remember, last year was supposed to go up 4 million, never did.
Yep.
So again, I think everybody's taking a cautious approach here. Believe it when we see it, kind of thing.
Yeah, just hang on tight, folks. The optimism in all the big market cities that are literally like salivating over the fact that they could see an extra $4 million in the kitty. Not
And
yet.
that would be huge for a lot of teams. It's like $120 million teams can play with then.
It is a
Huge.
lot.
It's a lot of money for these players too. But again, it'll be official. It doesn't really become official until right before the start of free agency, which is the worst part about this whole thing.
We gotta wait and wait and
We
wait.
gotta wait. We don't know, but it'll help teams keep, it'll help a team like the Devils, because I think they'll have like 26 million again in cap space, which you get Dawson Mercer, you get Toffoli signed, you can add a couple more pieces if you need, so that's always a good thing. You had what Minnesota did this week. Take care of some housekeeping.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Hartman on
Very tidy.
Saturday. Very nice, tidy contract, 3x4. Marcus Foligno's 4x4. And what was it? Zuccarello was what? 2x4 plus 3?
4+. Yeah, not too bad.
But again, with Minnesota, yeah, Hartman's like a Minnesota Wild type player, but it feels like they're just a perennial bridesmaid because whoever they face in the first round, they're not going to get past.
Yeah, they don't quite have the horses.
No.
To get pat, and they're always going to wind up facing somebody like Colorado that legitimately exploits their pet. Look, Minnesota's special teams have been god awful in the playoffs for a variety of reasons, especially the penalty kill. The penalty kill, just from an X's and O's standpoint, has been awful, which
Very
means
bad.
at some point you have to look at coaching.
And Dallas exposed it last year.
Oof. I mean, Dallas did it. Colorado did it the one year. St. Louis did it. I mean, St. Louis did
it.
I mean,
Chicago's done it.
Yeah, Chicago started this whole mess with them. Just saying. But again, the good thing for them, I guess, is they got these guys in. They are up against the cap.
It's true. Their top scorers just do go away.
Well, I mean, to be fair, look, you figure
he had chances, he just couldn't finish.
You have your main guy who gets hurt right before the playoffs.
Yep, Kaprizov.
And look, he came back. I understand he had like 1 or 2 pretty good games, but he wasn't 100%.
No, he was not 100% whatsoever.
And look, this seems to always happen with them. They always have like this one injury that they can't afford to have. And then obviously Matthew Dumba literally played not that he hadn't already played his way out of Minnesota by then, but he really played his way out of Minnesota after that. And now you have to consider this too. Lost in all this mess, Minnesota might not get off to the greatest of starts either, because one of their key defensemen is now week to week with all of a sudden with an upper body injury that didn't seem that bad, that now seems bad.
Jared Spurgeon's out.
Yeah, this is big, folks.
Because outside of Colorado and Dallas, Minnesota was a lock to be third.
Yeah, you would absolutely think so, because that division is tailor made for them to just, again, sneak right in.
But
Now, here's the thing. Obviously, part of the reason for a lot of these like 3 and 4 year deals is because, well, let's say they still have 2 more years.
of Zach Parise and Ryan Suter.
Right. Now, it doesn't mean that their buyouts are done after this. It just means that that amount is nowhere near what it is now. Right
The
now,
crippling amounts that they are right now, where it's like $12 million.
you're looking at. I
Or
feel like
14, I think
yeah,
now.
yeah. It's 14.744 million.
Unbelievable.
So in 2 years, it drops to 1.6666666666.
Which is more manageable, which allows the Wild to do even more things.
So now basically they have that. Obviously, signing Gustus into the deal they did was excellent. Yeah, it was kind of a weird way of getting there, but they got there.
It was weird. And probably Fleury comes off the books next year because Wallstedt will be ready.
Well, remember, Fleury actually, in terms of actual dollars this year, is only 3.5.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is he may call it at the end of this year. You don't.
Oh,
you just don't know.
If I'm wrong on this, fair enough. I think this is it.
I think this is it too. I think this is his last year.
He's got nothing left to prove, and look, he's one of the funnest interviews I think I've ever had.
Oh, he's a great interview. He's a great interview.
Honest. So I mean, look, so you have that. All right. So like we said, all right. So you figure like defensively for Minnesota really fast. You have fairly unproven guys like Addison, who we don't really know what he's going to do in a fuller role. Last year,
No,
he
we don't.
pretty
He was
bad.
very
He was pretty bad at. He was
times.
inconsistent. Right.
Yeah, at times he was bad. At times he was really good.
John Merrill. Well,
we know what he is.
Right. Brock Faber, we don't quite know yet. He's interesting.
But he's a good young piece on defense.
Yeah, and you
need him. Boldy up front. That's a nice addition.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, I don't know. There's a part of me that still doesn't make that Zuccarello move. I don't know. I mean, I think
just what he brings to the team.
I get why, because of the intangibles. But I mean, he's gonna be 37 when that contract kicks in. Because remember, it's an extension. So I mean,
I still think I think that's his final deal, and that's it.
Yeah, that's what that is fair. And sometimes we have to sit there and go, well, okay, yeah, all right, we take our lesson and we take our little paddling and we move on.
Yeah, I think that's what it was for Minnesota. I think that's what they did here with him. Again, I think they've come up short. I think they find a way. They'll get in, but I don't think they'll finish first or second because I think it's Dallas or Colorado. Colorado has the Vontaze that they're trying to figure out term and dollars because he's older, and that's an interesting watch.
Yeah, I wonder, with his age in particular. I mean, I still laugh at looking at their cap space, but
was he 30?
He is 30.
And I think Colorado's hesitant to extend him past like 4 or 5 years.
I get why, because
I get it.
Because look at some of the guys they have, and I mean, look at Byram, for example.
Right.
I mean, you're skating on pins and needles, hoping that he can stay healthy.
Right.
So, all right. So Taves turns 30 in February.
But I think he's just necessary because he's such a perfect fit for Makar.
Yeah, you have to find a way. So, again, we keep hearing 5 years.
That's a good term for him.
That's the number that keeps floating around.
And then you could go and then if you go 5 years, see where the team's at, see where is at, and then you extend him for 2 years or something.
Yeah, this isn't complex math for once.
No, this isn't complex math.
These aren't like the teams that have a roster size of 26 right now.
No, exactly.
Oops.
And Gerard's there, and yeah. So I mean, Jack Johnson's still on that back end. So Colorado, Dallas,
You
very
don't count.
interesting. The Central, very interesting to look at.
Take Dallas with the plus money, people.
I think so too. I like Dallas there.
Plus
Speaking
170?
speaking of
Degenerate
Texas,
me.
speaking of Texas, not the
Yeah.
Texas Oklahoma game, that was wild. But we're gonna wrap it up with this, okay? Expansion, okay?
Yeah.
You know, the NHL said they're not interested. They're still taking calls, but people call them all the time. But they're not interested in it at whatsoever. But you know, you never can rule it out with this league. You hear Salt Lake City, you hear Houston, Atlanta again, Quebec City. Look, I'll be honest, we need to stand pat right now, okay? We are at a perfect number of teams, okay? Seattle's just got in. Let's wait till the cap goes up before we start thinking about expanding. And we should not go to Atlanta anymore. I'm sorry, but we should not. But they can't even expand because they got to figure out the Arizona situation first.
Yeah. That's big. Because look, it's still out there. No matter what anybody wants to say. And yeah, let's play in a college. Look, I'm not going to lie. I like watching a college hockey game in a college hockey arena.
I don't like an NHL game there.
But an NHL game, not so much.
It's cool the first year. After that,
the novelty is going to quickly wear off this year.
Exactly. It's cool. Okay, whatever. They need to figure that out because their last options are their last options, and they're gonna have to move to either Houston or so. Look, the guy in Salt Lake City wants a team. You know, we hear all this stuff about Atlanta. You know, look, not everybody can be Seattle and Vegas. At some point, the talent that these teams get are not going to be like what Vegas and Seattle got. And these general managers are going to know it.
Yep.
I know it's not like the old days when like Nashville, Minnesota, Columbus, Atlanta came in, but at some point, the talent that they get isn't going to be as good. And I think 32 is fine the way it is.
Yeah. I got to think you're right, Jim. I really do. I don't know. I mean, could I stomach a third kick at the can in Atlanta? No.
No, I can't. Like, I don't care what they have to do, right? Like, I know everybody's all excited. Oh, it's not a hockey market.
No, it's not going to work.
It's not.
I argue if it wasn't for Georgia football, it would be barely even a football market.
Yeah, this is a fact.
You know, I mean, you look at some of the teams there, and you look at how things have gone, and you just have to sit there, shake your head, and go, it's not good. Houston has potential.
Houston has potential. They always have. And the fact that the Toyota Center is reportedly adding a machine that can sustain an ice surface tells me that they are prepping for the Coyotes to come there as a relocation.
I tend to think that this is something that could happen as soon as next season.
I think that's if this stuff doesn't go well in Arizona, I think Gary's going to throw the white flag up and say it's time.
Yeah, and I know people have said, "Oh no, he won't do it this time. He won't do it this time."
I think he's ready to do it.
Yeah. I mean, you never want to speculate and say, "Okay, commissioner wants to do X," when he really goes and does Y or Z. But
Right, but it's getting to a point where it
it's
feels like it's coming.
yeah, the just it's like that old Queen song. I'm just waiting for the hammer to fall.
Right, exactly, and I think we're waiting for that to fall in Arizona before they go and expand. I personally think you wait to if you're gonna do it because they most likely will, but they're not gonna follow the best sport right now going. The model is they have 32 teams. Everybody likes it. They don't even want to expand. They don't care about expanding. Is the NFL. The NBA doesn't even want to expand. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's probably gonna come, but they should wait till the cap's at 100 million. I know and you hear it all the time. Oh, the game's in great shape, all this stuff, and I know understand this is why they want to do it, but you have to wait, and that's why you hear all this stuff. Oh, the game's in great shape. People want, like you see the franchises, all this stuff, but you gotta wait because the players aren't seeing any of that money,
Right. Yeah,
and I think
there's a lag.
there's a lag somewhere because you have all this like you have the expansion fees. It's all great for the owners, but the players are still the lowest paid in any major sport.
Right.
And I'm not trying to be Alan Walsh here, but like they need to get the cap up to 100 million and get these guys getting paid, starting to get paid in the 20s
Right.
before they start expanding again.
And don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we're not gonna have like some magic GIF of Jim with like a sword going through his back, to
No.
illustrate the lack of salary. We're safe there. And plus we don't have the budget for that.
No, we don't have the budget for that, but still, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And I
Right.
think that's my biggest takeaway from these board of governors meetings is just like, all right, it's all talk with the National Hockey League until it's not.
Yep. 32 is what we do.
And I think it's plenty because the season is right around the corner, folks. And it's Tuesday night. And I think if you're a game and if Ian's game, I think we tee up some stuff Tuesday night for the opening night of the regular season.
It's time, baby.
It's
It
time.
really is. I
It's
mean,
time.
it's been time.
Oh, it's been way too long.
Let,
Way too long. Oh, it's
let's.
happening.
It's
So
on.
we will be back Tuesday to do opening night coverage of
Coverage.
the National Hockey League.
We're here.
We're back.
Misses.
So, but I'm excited. It feels so good to have hockey back. The preseason's over. Take what you want from it. Some players did what they had to do. Others look phenomenal. Records don't mean nothing. It all's for real. Tuesday night. Can't wait. I cannot wait for October 10th. It's going to be awesome. Are you ready?
Born ready for this.
No. I said, are you ready?
Man.
You're ready. I'm ready. Ian's ready. Everybody's ready. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in here. Saturday night special, Full Press Hockey Weekly. Myself, Jim Berenger, Chris Wassel, Ian behind the scenes. The NWO is for life. Get it at Full Press NHL on Twitter. Full Press Hockey and Full Press Coverage on Facebook. At Full Press Coverage on Twitter as well. Full Press Coverage on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Listen, like, subscribe. You know what to do. Hit the follow button to stay up to date. Take care. Enjoy the regular season. We'll be back Tuesday night for life.